Hello, so this is my mayonnaise recipe. Now I was taught to make mayonnaise this way by a wonderful lady called Connie a long time ago now, and this is how I've made mayonnaise ever since. And before I learned to make mayonnaise this way, I had many disastrous attempts and ended up with big blender dishes of mayonnaise soup that I could do nothing with. I cannot tell you how many ingredients I wasted. Now, this is never, honestly, I swear, it has never not worked for me, but I do know people it hasn't worked for. I don't know why that is. But I'm going to do it for you today anyway, and I'll show you how I do it. So here we go. I have got, so in general, if you have got a large size egg, it's 1 large egg to 1 cup. Okay, and these are measuring cups. These are special measuring cups, not a cup that you would drink tea or coffee out of. You can go to any, cookery shop or supermarket and buy cups now. Okay, this used to be, I think it kind of comes from America in terms of how they measure, but it's over here, and I actually love cooking like this. I think it's a really lovely, simple way to cook. So this is my cup set, okay, so that's 1. That's a half a cup. That's a quarter of a cup. No, it isn't. I lied. That's 3/4 of a cup. That's half a cup. And that is a quarter of a cup. So you just use each one. It's brilliant. Okay, so here we go. And also, you can freehand this as you get to know, as you do it a few times. Just pour it in. Because if you haven't got enough, it doesn't emulsify. It will stay runny. So this is the other thing, it's completely counterintuitive. So if it doesn't start to thicken, you probably haven't put enough oil in, okay? So be brave, add more oil. And the other thing that's really important is your eggs should be room temperature. And you should not be keeping your eggs in the fridge anyway. So my eggs are always room temperature, because don't keep them in the fridge. Right, here we go. So I'm using, again, I've got my small eggs at the moment because we're buying them from a friend. So these little bantam eggs, so I'm going to use 2, but really the recipe's for 1. And you just crack them and break them straight into, I would recommend that you use, some sort of tall jug or other receptacle. Doesn't have to be a jug, but just, as tall and as narrow as you can, because we're going to use a stick blender to make this. Something to wipe my hands on. I've got a thing about wiping hands. So this is my stick blender, my lovely stick blender. Any old stick blender will do. But so you make this with a stick blender and a jug. Probably should have said that before, sorry. Break my other egg in there. Just check that. Always check your eggs. Every now and again you get a dodgy one, it's not good. Okay, so there we go. Right, so that's the eggs. Now, you need to use an oil for this is not heavily flavoured. So you wouldn't use extra virgin olive oil to make this recipe because it just makes the mayonnaise too strong. It's not very pleasant. So you could use any light flavoured oil. I've made it with avocado oil, which I like, some people don't. I've got some, this literally has been sitting in my cupboard forever. I think it was a Christmas present. So it's a white truffle oil. So I'm going to use a little bit of that because I reckon, I love the taste of truffle. I think in a mayonnaise it will be absolutely lush. So I'm going to add some of that. Or light olive oil works well, okay? You need a cup of olive oil. So I'm going to go, what am I going to do? I'm going to go with the olive oil. Let's do that. So I'm going to, here we go. Put a cup of olive oil in there. It's quite a lot. You'll be like, oh my goodness, that's so much. I'm going to top it off with the truffle oil. There we go, just give it a really lovely flavour. And the other thing with this mayonnaise is you put all the ingredients in together. So at this point you could add, there's lots of things you can add to mayonnaise you make yourself to make it, just give it that extra bit of kind of excitement and loveliness. So you could add some crushed garlic and end up with an aioli. Don't forget your salt. I would always put salt in. You could add some chili. You could add some herbs, green herbs. You can add lemon juice or lovely types of vinegar. So you can use red or white vinegar, you could use sherry vinegar, you could use apple cider vinegar, you could use lemon juice. The acid, they say, helps to stabilise the mixture a bit. So sometimes that can help. Mustard is a great thing to add. And you know, again, people say Dijon mustard, that's a nice smooth French one, but it's down to personal taste. There's no reason you couldn't put some English mustard in there if that's your favourite. There's no reason you couldn't put some whole grain mustard in there if that's your favourite. You just went out with such a smooth mayonnaise. So really, don't over panic, just have a go. Okay, so all the olive oil goes in at the same time. Heresy, absolute heresy if you are a chef. Sorry about that. Right, and the salt, so any salt you want, good salt, I always recommend you use good salt. Today I'm going to use this. This is a wonderful thing, you haven't got any yet, get some. So this is real salt, and it's kind of all smashed up with lots of different dried herbs. It's called herbamar, but you use it like you'd use salt, and it's just got that extra bit of flavour. I add it to my scrambled eggs and things, it's just delicious. So I'm going to add a little bit of this. Comes out quite fast, so you just have to be careful with this. I have overdone this a bit in the past. Don't like mayonnaise too salty. Okay, that's done. And here we go, the moment of truth. I always slightly worry when I'm doing this and think this will be the time it doesn't work. Right, so you put your hand blender right to the bottom and keep it there, okay? And switch it on and just run it. And you should see it start to become mayonnaise. So let's see. There you go. So that's mayonnaise. Now, here's the interesting part. So I used 2 eggs. So it's still quite runny. Okay, it's not. Can you see that? I mean, it is. You could use that as mayonnaise now. Look, but it's got a bit of a run. So I actually want it a bit thicker than that. So what am I going to do? I'm going to add some more oil. Let's just put the rest of this in. Just don't want to waste it. Okay, so now I'm just going to do it by hand, okay? So I'm just going to add a couple of glugs. That's my unit of measurement. I'm going to give it another whiz. So again, keep it down on the bottom and start from there. So that's gone thicker. I'll show you in a minute. I'm just going to finish mixing it. Right, so let's take that off. So now, can you see you've got a lovely thick mayonnaise? Let's get a spoon in there so I can really show you. Smells delicious, smells really truffly. That is the consistency now. So it's still dropping off the spoon. Okay, so if I wanted to make it thicker than that, I just keep adding oil. All right, and so at this point I wouldn't add too much at one go, just a glug or two. And that is my throw it all in one go, whole egg mayonnaise.